Hello everybody. Yes, I know this is my third video on this in 2 days. But A, it's important, and B, it's just there's too much cloud around all this. More and more questions keep coming up. So I just heard something that made me think of something that led me to another direction, which led me to somewhere else, which is an actual epiphany. And if you follow this, you'll have that epiphany too, because there's some bullcrap going on here. And it hasn't really even been brought out in the media. So I'm going to start off by setting this up so the argument is clear. Donald Trump, as president, or any president under the Second Amendment, has the right as the chief law enforcement officer to do certain things, and one of those things is decide whether or not something wants to be prosecuted or followed in an investigation or not. Now, save the arguments about, well, it's obstruction if he does it, if they're investigating him and all that stuff, because we're going to go forward with this a little bit. Just as an example, I use this in one of my other videos. If the Department of Justice was investigating Hillary Clinton because they felt like Comey had and Loretta Lynch had decided that they weren't going to prosecute her because she was a Democrat, which Lisa Page has basically stated that's fact, that everybody knew that Loretta Lynch wasn't going to prosecute Hillary no matter what the evidence showed. They didn't even put her under oath when they asked her questions. Off the point, sorry. But let's say that they started an investigator and Donald Trump said, you know what? I'm going to stop that investigation because it's going to look just political. It's going to look like I'm going after my enemies. I'm going to stop it because it's over. It's in the past. You know, at some point, there's some things you just got to let go. He has the right to do that. He has the right to stop any investigation in the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is under the executive branch. Now, the voters might say, well, we hired you or voted for you to lock her up, and may not vote for them. And that's fine and dandy. If the investigation is something the other side won't and the other side has control, they can take political recourse as well. But he has that right. So the argument was that Donald Trump was trying to stop an investigation to which he was the target of, ergo it's obstruction of justice. But somebody seemed to have forgotten Jim Comey. The firing of Jim Comey is what started the special counsel. Or the special prosecutor. Special counsel was the old rule. Problem is, Jim Comey admitted in his testimony to Congress and admitted to the press finally that he told Donald Trump 3 separate occasions, you're not a target of this investigation. Which means Trump was not under investigation. If he fired Comey to stop the Russia investigation, it would be the same if he fired him to stop the Clinton investigation or any investigation. If he wasn't a target, that's not obstruction of justice. That's his prerogative as president. So why was the special counsel appointed, or special prosecutor? You can't say because he fired Comey, he had the right to fire Comey. Can't say because he fired Comey to stop an investigation, which he was to keep himself from getting in trouble. He wasn't under investigation. Comey said so on 3 separate occasions and admitted that he told Trump that. So to Trump, he's not stopping that investigation because he's afraid to find something out. He's not stopping the investigation because he just don't like him investigating him. Trump was being assured on 3 separate occasions by Jim Comey, the head of the FBI, and who was running the investigation, that Trump wasn't a target of that investigation. So that argument goes out the window. So why was the special prosecutor appointed? Under a lie. Now, why are they saying it was obstruction of justice? Because he fired Jim Comey to stop the investigation. The president can choose to stop any investigation. It may be a claim to say, okay, well, it was obstruction because he stopped him from being investigated, but he wasn't under investigation. Jim Comey admitted that. He admitted under oath that he said that even to Trump 3 times. So where's your obstruction of justice? Also, obstruction of justice would take an overt act, such as firing the prosecutor who was investigating you. He wasn't investigating him, which also means that it would take an overt act to call obstruction of justice over the attempt to fire Mueller. But guess what? There was no overt act. Mueller was never fired, never put in jeopardy, never told not to complete his investigation. He might have voiced off, he might have said some things. There's no overt act. Lying to the FBI, that's an overt act. Destroying documents, that's an overt act. But guess what? There's no overt act. Mueller was never fired. Mueller was never interfered with whatsoever. Trump allowed him to talk to anybody in his administration as much as he wanted. McGahn for 50 hours or something. He gave him 1.5 million documents, everything they asked for. He responded to the written questions, which is a negotiation between Trump's lawyers and the special prosecutor. There was no obstruction of justice. There was no overt act. He didn't withhold anything from him. He didn't fire him. He did not impede his investigation any bit whatsoever. You can't claim it on Comey, because Comey told President Trump 3 times, and he told Chuck Schumer he told the Democrats that. When he testified in front of Congress, he admitted he told whatever panel or committee Chuck Schumer was sitting on it that Trump was not a target of the investigation. So guess what? They've been lying the whole freaking time too. Imagine that. They're Democrats. They lie. You can't fire the president for stopping an investigation he wasn't the target of. It's his prerogative as president. There might be political retribution from the voters to say, we wanted that Russia investigation, but that's his prerogative as president. If it's like saying, well, he has that right under the Constitution, but if he uses right, it's obstruction of justice. No. They don't write a law that says you can do this, but if you do, then you get impeached. It's his prerogative. You cannot argue it's obstruction of justice. He wasn't the target of the investigation. Argue that.